I've been building in this village for over 300 days now, slowly chipping away at different builds around the base, completing tasks off the task board, all with the end goal of transforming this default Spruce village into a cozy custom one that's able to export all its goods to other villages around it. And today is the day that I finally get to work creating the docks where all of this trading and export will take place. So let's get building some docks, shall we? We are going to have this be where our docks go in our riverbed, so we just need to grab a bunch of supplies to create some docks and get everything in order to start exporting all the resources we've collected from this village. And while we build out the docks, I just wanted to take a quick moment to say thank you so much for your support of this channel. We're at 96,000 subscribers right now, getting closer and closer to 100,000 subscribers, and it would not be possible without you guys choosing to subscribe and watch my videos. I appreciate everyone that's leaving the likes on the videos and leaving comments on them. I'm truly humbled by how many people have chosen my channel as a way to relax, get inspiration from, and just help them unwind. So thank you for choosing my channel and helping me reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers and allowing me to also be able to continue doing YouTube full-time as a result of your support. I'd also love to hear from you guys what your favorite series of mine has been, or some of your favorite moments from the channel. So feel free to just comment below and let me know. I'm sure you'll find people in the comments who share some of the same favorite series and moments, which makes it even better to have the community coming together. Now let's get back to just focusing on building our docks. And as we started building up the market stalls, I had the thought to replace some of the stripped logs with some barrels so we could have some item frames on them and place the item being sold in the barrel and inside the item frame to make it easier for travelers to stop by the docks and buy what they needed. We then started removing one of the villager houses in the rain to make more room for the docks to be expanded. We then came across a drowned with a trident that sounded like it had some enchant on it, but I couldn't tell, especially since no lightning was coming off of it and there was a loud sound. I had no idea, so comment below if that's an enchant sound or just a trident sound that I never recognized before. Alright, we're finally starting to bring up all of the skeleton exported items, which feels really good. I'm thinking that what we'll do is we'll have this one be for the arrows and for just regular bones. And then we can just fill up our barrels like so, except I need to make sure I keep a stack for my bow and arrow. But this is what we have so far. Obviously, we still have a ways to go in decorating it, making it look more official, but I think this is looking really good so far. I'm kind of just taking one section at a time, so really focusing on getting the rest of our little market stalls in place. We do also need to remove this house as well. We already removed one, but we do need to remove this house as well, so we will just do that really quickly to make it a little bit easier to have some space behind the market stalls. All right, now I'm just going around and adding in some details. So I figured that since we have the sweet berry farm, it would be kind of fun to add in some berry planter boxes around here. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. It's just adding in a bunch of little planter boxes, making things seem a little bit cuter. I'm also waiting for it to get dark so I can kind of see where else I need to add some lanterns and add some spruce trees that we can maybe hang some lanterns from, because I don't really want to keep these pale oak trees. So we're kind of just gonna start adding in some of the other spruce trees around the edge with some lanterns and chains. Now, besides having little planter boxes, I also plan to get a bunch of barrels and chests and kind of just scatter them around like this is a loading zone ready to just load in a bunch of these storage bins. So we are going to have a lot of barrels around, which could make it interesting for any villagers, but we're just going to kind of scatter some of these around like so. Now, besides adding barrels and chests everywhere, I also on this other side here really want to add in a loading crane that's going to kind of hover over the water, kind of to resemble a barge that would come through into this riverway to come and collect supplies for export. And I also want there to be kind of a little like fishing hut set back here next to the crane, kind of like we have a fisherman operating the crane itself to drop off all of the exports from the Spruce Village. So the next thing we're going to do is grab a bunch of supplies for us to be able to build ourselves a nice little crane hovering over the waterway. And from looking across the docks, we have our crane completed, ready to load up shipments of our items that we are now exporting from our Spruce Village. And the next thing that I want to work on is creating the little fishing hut and cottage. I don't know if I'd rather call it a fishing hut or a fishing cottage. I feel like because they're kind of going to be manning the crane and the docks, a cottage is definitely more fitting. But I think what we'll do is right in here is going to be the best place for the fishing hut, because I do want it to have some focus point, and if it is behind the crane, you kind of don't really see it anymore. So what we're gonna do is start clearing out some of the space, create a little walk-up path to our little fishing cottage here. First, we're gonna grab some of our pale oak, because these are going to be the walls that we build our little fishing hut out of, and we are also going to add a little fish on top of it, and it will also be made with pale oak. And now we're just gonna start laying down a nice little stairway to lead us up to where our little fishing cottage is gonna go. And I think what I wanna do is have the stairs be 2 steps wide. So we'll kind of just, let's say, have another set of stairs right in here. And then what we'll do is we will add in the spruce floor walkway right here, so that it blends in with the dock, kind of just winding our way up. And we do have a lot of terraforming to do, I realize, so let's just start clearing this back. All right, now that we've got a good fishing rod with mending, luck of the sea, and lure, we should be able to start getting some very nice little fishies, hopefully some treasure. Now, I did bring some item frames over because I thought it would be kind of fun to put some salmon around on different counters on the exterior and on the interior. Then we'll also be able to display other items in the item frames once we do a bit of fishing. I also added some bookshelves in here. Since we do have Luck of the Sea, I'm hoping that we'll find some good books to maybe add to things, but we'll just have to see. For now, I'm just gonna put some of these items in here temporarily, and let's just do a little bit of fishing before we bring a villager over, just because, well, I know moving the villagers is gonna be annoying, so let's do some calm fishing before we deal with villager chaos. And I think maybe we'll do about like 5 minutes IRL and see what we get. All right, and with just 5 minutes, not like a crazy amount, but I will say a nautilus shell and finally getting infinity on a bow is huge. I prefer to use infinity over mending, and we already have a really good bow, so we're just adding to that infinity, so I'm actually pretty happy about that, especially for just 5 minutes. So I think we'll just, put our little findings inside one of these barrels here temporarily, and let's move a villager over here, shall we? Now, since there's so many barrels around here, I think the best course of action for us to be able to get the villager in place where we want them is to put them in a boat, tie a lead to said boat, and then I'll boat them across on our little dirt island here, and then the lead will help us to be able to kind of push them, pull them up the staircase. And I'm hoping that will work well enough for what we're trying to do. So let's just see if my theory is correct. All right, we've now got our little buddy here, and I might see about changing his trade to see what else we could get. We could do some emeralds for some cooked cod if we want to just convert all of the cod that we're catching, or we could just see if we find some other more interesting trades. And string and coal, we could do that. The main trade that I want from the Fisherman is campfires for some nice decorative blocks, so I don't super care how we get to what we get as long as we get there. But I think for now, as far as which trade to lock in, I'm just gonna leave this guy here. He should be safe. I don't think any zombies can get to him from here, and he can't escape, so this guy is our new dock worker Fisherman. And now that their little cozy home is all set up, the last part that I did want to add was on top of the little fishing hut cottage. I want there to be a little fish emblem, just so we kind of know, like, this is where we're going to be getting the salmon from the river and all of our other little goodies. So let's just use this path and go get some more supplies. And just like that, we've got a little fishy on top our fishing cottage. I just need to get a slab to make the stick that's holding up the fish, not hover, and then we'll be good. There we go. And I think just to make the roof look a little bit nicer and not have this stick out so much, we'll add in some additional slabs to the top just to add some more texture and dimension to our roof. The last thing that I want to do is actually just kind of decorate around the edges where our dockside area meets up with our grassy areas. Add some more bone meal, some more chests scattered throughout, and then I think we will have this looking like it's in good shape. So we can just put some of these aside and grab some bone meal and some other bits of decorations and get to work sprucing this place up. All right, with some additional piles of chests and barrels around, some little berry bush planter boxes, and some bone meal, I think this area is looking really cute, and it's just so fun to see what this looked like at the beginning and what it looks like once the project is completed. But just being able to now have all of the exports labeled for what we'll be exporting from our spruce village, I think is so great, and I can't wait to actually start filling up these barrels for our exports as we start getting things more collected up. And with our lovely little export docks all completed, that wraps up everything I have in mind for today's episode. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the transformation. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.